everyone, so today I am here to do my current TBR pile update. Basically, if you guys don't know, I haven't done TBR piles in over a year now, so instead I've been doing current TBR pile updates as well as currently reading videos like every couple weeks or every month or so, just because my TBR is usually pretty freaking tiny, so it doesn't make that much sense to make a full TBR video each month because it just doesn't make any sense to me. But today I will be talking about all of the books that are currently on my TBR because this is probably the biggest my TBR has been in 6 months. These do not include school books because obviously I have a ton of books that I need to be reading for school that I have bought, but I don't count those. These are like my pleasure reading TBR books. So yeah, I'm just gonna get right on into it and tell you guys all of the books that are on my TBR. I think I have like 14 right now, which it was like 17 like a couple days ago, but I finished a couple of books, which I was like, yes. So I think it might be like 16 or 14. I don't remember, but I'm gonna show you all of the books that are on my TBR. So the first 2 books that I have are ones that I plan on reading like immediately. Like these are currently on my currently reading shelf on Goodreads. So the first one is Final Girls by Riley Sager. I picked this up from the Barnes & Noble bargain section like probably October, November, I want to say. I just haven't gotten to it yet, but I got the audiobook and I hear that the audios are really, really good. I'm really interested in this author because I hear such good things about all of his books. So I wanted to start with number 1 and I will make my way through his books. And then I'm finally going to read Girls of Storm and Shadow by Natasha Nagan. This is the second book to Girls of Paper and Fire, which this is a lesbian romance fantasy novel. I don't know if it's YA or if it's more like NA. I would probably classify it more as NA than YA, but I'm just really excited to continue. I don't really love series that much, so I'm a little nervous about this book. Sometimes reading a second book in a series like kills it for me. But I love these characters so much and I'm curious as to where it's gonna go. Hopefully I love it. Yeah. And then I have several volumes of manga that are on my current TBR because honestly I just haven't read manga in a while. Like it's been a long time since I've read anything. I think the last time I read it was October. I read a bunch of Junji Ito's books, but like since then it's been like the summer since I've read manga. Like I don't know why. I just have taken a break from it. But the first one I actually bought in the summer and is still just sitting on my TBR. But that is Alice in the Country of Hearts by Sumi Hoshino. This is an Alice in Wonderland reimagined manga. And this is like an omnibus, so it has I think a couple of volumes in it, but yeah, I'm interested in reading this. I don't know when the heck I'm gonna get to it, but I will eventually because I'd been wanting to try out this manga for quite a while and I found it in a thrift store, so I am really excited to read it. And then we have one that I just very recently picked up in Ohio. That one I picked up in Ohio, and this one I picked up in Ohio, so. And that is Dead Man Wonderland Volume 1, and it's this like old printing of it. Yeah, these got redone, so this is not what they normally look like, but I've heard really good things about this manga and anime series, and I saw this and I just decided to grab it to try it out. It's volume number 1, so I want to give it a shot. I always am looking for new manga series to get into because I feel like I used to read so much manga and watch so much anime and I just don't anymore, and I want to get back into it. And then of course I have a very highly anticipated book, and that is I Hear the Sunspot Limit Volume 2. Obviously I've read all of the other I Hear the Sunspot volumes. They have 2 or 3 single like one-shot books, like they're not a series, and then this is the series of them and it's volume 2, and this follows a boy who's hard of hearing and a person who tries to help him in classes, like take notes for him, and then their romance, and it's really cute and I love them so much, so really excited to get to that. Probably the first one I'll read. And then these I have had for so long. I don't know why I haven't continued reading it. I think the last time I read volume 2 in like the summer, like during the reading rush. So I have Your Lie in April volume 3 and 4, and I really was enjoying this series, so I don't know why I haven't just continued reading this book, or this series. And then of course I have Boruto volume 6 and 7, and I got these for Christmas because my library only had through volume 5, so I obviously really wanted to continue. If you guys somehow don't know, Naruto is like my favorite thing ever. It's my favorite series I've ever read of manga or books. So I love these so much, and I have been really enjoying Boruto. It's definitely not as good as Naruto in my personal opinion, but I have been really enjoying it and it's been a lot of fun, so I want to continue in this series and just continue loving them. Then the last volume of manga I have kind of goes with another book, but I have No Longer Human by Junji Ito and No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai. So this is a manga that is based off of this novel. And yeah, this is gorgeous. This is probably one of my favorite manga like aesthetic releases that I've seen in a long time. If you guys don't know who Junji Ito is, I mentioned him just a couple minutes ago. He's a horror author, manga artist, and he wrote one of the only things that has ever like truly really like terrified me in my life. So I keep wanting to absolutely love his work, but I haven't loved anything since that comic. I'm really hoping to enjoy this though. But yeah, this is the manga and is based off of this book because I'm really interested in doing this. My friend Dylan told me all about this kind of release and it got me really excited. He has a whole video on it. I will link down in the description below. He's so intelligent. More people need to follow him. Like, if you want someone who really like analyzes literature and really looks into things more than just like a quick review, look at Dylan. Dylan is so underrated. Like, what? You guys need to follow Dylan. But yeah, he told me about this release and it got me really excited because if you don't know, my graduate project right now is all about adaptation, and I might like genuinely make adaptation studies my focus in my PhD because of how much I love it. So obviously this idea of a novel into a manga format, especially the difference in length, is fascinating to me because obviously there's so many things that happen when you adapt a book into like a film or a book into like something else, but a book into a manga is a very interesting exchange that I haven't actually experienced yet, and I'm really interested in this, and I will be doing a full video when I read these, probably like a vlog, so you guys can look forward to that. But I'm really excited to get to these. But yeah, check out Dylan's video because he's already done it and I'm still currently waiting to read these before I can watch his video, so. Alright, now I'm just gonna get into some more novels that I have on my TBR. The first one is The Friend by Sigrid Nunes. This is a book that I have had on my TBR for, like, my wish list for a very long time because if you don't know, I love Great Danes. They're my favorite type of dog. And actually, one of my friends in my department at grad school did this in his class. Like, he's one of our TAs, and he taught this to his undergrad class, and it just, I don't know, inspired me to read it. So I finally picked it up. It was like $3 on Thrift Books, so I'm really excited to read this. I'm hoping the dog doesn't die at the end, but when does the dog not die at the end? And then I also picked up The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin. I'm not gonna lie, this was a really random purchase. I was at Barnes & Noble and they have that table that's like buy two get one free, and I found 2 books on there that I wanted to get people for Christmas, but there was no other book that I really was interested in, so I just picked up this one. So yeah, actually the sticker says buy one to get one 50% off, but this was definitely buy two get one free. I've heard interesting things about this. Honestly, it kind of reminds me of Far From the Tree, which was one of my favorite books of 2019. So I'm interested in it. I've heard very mixed things, but we're gonna try it out. Hopefully I will love it. So then I picked up a BookTube classic favorite, and that is 172 Hours on the Moon by Johan Harstad. This is a book that BookTube loved like 3 or 4 years ago, and I just never picked up. It's been on my wish list since then, but I just never picked it up. But now that I am obsessed with horror and terror because my top 3 books of 2019 were horror/terror, so excited to read this, and I had to pick it up. So gonna get to this one definitely very soon. I'm like, it's become one of those books that I'm like, when is the perfect time to read it? And I hate when people do that, so I'm gonna try not to do that. If I want to pick it up in February, I will. I don't need to wait until October to read it. And then we have an adult contemporary romance that I have heard such amazing things about, and I got it for literally $1, I think, at Half Price Books, and that is One Day in December by Josie Silver. I've heard such good things about this, so I plan on reading it like the week of Valentine's Day. Thought that would be cute. But I have heard that this is not fluffy at all, but I am really, really excited to see this. It's basically about a man and a woman who they see each other when the woman's getting on the bus, and then they never see each other again until like a couple years later, but they had like this connection, and I think it takes place over like 10 years, so I'm really interested in this one. For sure. And then we have a book that I have been looking for. Like, again, this is one that has just been on my wish list for so long, and I finally found it in a used bookstore, so I decided to jump on it, and that is The Japanese Lover by Isabel Allende. I heard Max from Well Done Books. Wow. Who else is an OG BookTube stan? Wow, Max hasn't been on BookTube in I think 2 or 3 years, but he talked about this book in a video years ago. And it has been on my wish list ever since, and I finally found it. Don't know what it's about anymore. It's become one of those books that I just literally check for every single time I go into a used bookstore. Never found it, and then I found it, got really excited. Don't know what it's about anymore. I think it's about like a Japanese person in World War II Europe. That's all I got. And then we have Louise Erdrich, Future Home of the Living God. Honestly, I heard Whitney from Witty Novels talk about this. She didn't love this book, but everything she said about it really got me interested, which is why I never understand why people don't listen to negative reviews, because her talking negatively about this book made me want to read it. So this is about a woman who's pregnant in a post-apocalyptic world and kind of exploring what that is all about. There's another book that I'm really excited to read that's a horror that kind of has to do with the same thing. I think it's called like Sealed. But yeah. It just fascinated me, and I've heard so many amazing things about Louise Erdrich, so I decided to just pick it up, try it out. It's a really short little book, so I do love my post-apocalyptic following a small group of survivor books, so there's another one. And then I have another thriller, which I got at Goodwill for 50 cents, which is the only reason I picked it up, because I've heard very mixed things about this, and that is The Couple Next Door by Shari LaPena. Yeah, this is about a couple who they leave their baby while they go next door, which, first off, what the fuck are you doing? And when they come back, the baby's missing. And it's about whodunit and marriage, and I'm just like, why did they leave the baby? Are you stupid? And then I have a book that I picked up at the like a used bookstore, because I've heard so much about this author and I want to experience it, and this looks right up my alley with how weird it is and the formatting and stuff, and that is The Mysterious Flame of Queen Loana by Umberto Eco. And yeah, that author, very familiar. He's constantly recommended to me on thrift books from when I bought a bunch of Murakami books. He's not Japanese, I think he's Italian. And yeah, this book, it has a lot of like photos and stuff and like weird things all mixed into it, and honestly I just saw this cover, was fascinated, and then as I flipped through it I just got more and more interested, so I want to try it out. I have not heard anyone ever talk about this author on BookTube, but he seems to be pretty highly praised because I see him all over like recommended sites and in used bookstores, so picked it up. And then I have a whole bunch of books that I got for Christmas that I haven't obviously read yet. So I have The Memory Police by Yoko Agawa. This is a Japanese author that I absolutely loved her book Hotel Iris, and I've been wanting to read more by her. Obviously this sounds amazing. I'm pretty sure it's based on 1980 what is it, 1Q84, so it's 1984, right? That's what this is based off of. It's the book, oh my god, what's his name? The guy who wrote Animal Farm. You guys know who I'm talking about. Orwell. It's based off of that book. And I'm just so interested to see what Yoko Agawa decides to do with that kind of concept. She's so brilliant. So really, really excited about that. Also, I don't know, ever since I read Recursion, I've been more interested in books about memory. So really interested in that. And then I have The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is not a Christmas book. I lied to you. This is a book I also picked up in Ohio. 100% because it's signed. I don't think they realized it was signed because it's not signed in the correct place. Like usually books are signed right there. So I want to say this isn't like a random sign. I want to say this is from like a book signing or something because it's kind of random. And then we have a fantasy book that I'm so excited for and so nervous about because, again, I don't read that much fantasy. But that is Fate of the Fallen by Kel Cade. This was pitched to me as Lord of the Rings if Samwise Gamgee was the main character. And I was like, perfection. I love Sam so much. I hate Frodo. Worst book protagonist ever. Frodo. I hate Frodo. Frodo's such a whiny little bastard. Sam is the real hero of Lord of the Rings. And yeah, so obviously that immediately got me very, very interested in this book, and I asked for it for Christmas. Really excited, very interested in the fact that it's so small. It's a very short little book. I'm pretty sure this is an adult fantasy novel too, but very interested in this. Really, really interesting concept. So I just said I don't read a lot of fantasy, and then the last two books I have are giant fantasy novels. I have Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. This is my longest standing TBR book because I just haven't gotten to it. It just like is not calling to me. Brandon Sanderson is one of my only fantasy authors that I like, but then I read Starsight, which is the second book to Skyward, and I hated it and DNF'd it, and now I'm just nervous to pick up another Brandon Sanderson book. I have this on audio though, so I do plan on getting into it eventually. It's just also a book that I hear such mixed things about, and it's such a long audiobook and fantasy, and I need to read it. I am, my current like kind of plan for this TBR stack is to finish it by the end of the semester. Like, these are the books I'll pull from for the semester, because I haven't like said this anywhere, but I'm kind of on a no buying anything for 6 months because I have a bunch of really expensive things happening right now, so I don't want to spend money on like unnecessary things like books. So I'm kind of trying to say that these will be all of my reads until the end of the semester, besides like new releases and stuff. So yeah, I will get to that before May. That's what I'm saying. And then the last book I have is a gift from my friend Adele, who I love her so much for this. Oh, it's so gorgeous. She gave it to me for Christmas. I love her so much. The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. Oh, I love The Night Circus when I was a kid. I honestly don't remember it that much. I literally read it when it like came out, kind of thing. Like, it was a long time ago. I think they said it was like 10 years in between these books. That's crazy to me. But I read it a long time ago. So yeah, I'm so excited for this, but I also am nervous because I haven't read The Night Circus in so long. I don't know how much I still love her writing. I remember it being very flowering. Sometimes flowery writing is a lot for me, but I'm so interested in the story. It kind of reminds me of The Shadow of the Wind, with the whole like library and a story and a story and stuff like that, which I love that book so much. So I'm so excited to read this. I'm trying to wait to get the audiobook from my library, but it is currently such a long wait, so if I can't, like, if it doesn't come by spring break, I think this will be my spring break read. So yeah, so excited for this book though, as everyone is. But that beautiful UK cover, love it. But yeah, so those are my 2 stacks of books. This is the biggest my TBR has been in a long time. Like I said, I am a little intimidated by it, except for the fact that I am trying to not buy anything for like 6 months. So I'm kind of happy I have this many books to pick from and read and get to. So yeah, these are my books that are currently on my TBR. Anyways, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and definitely tell me down in the comments below if you've read any of these and which ones you really recommend, or I should bump to the like top of my TBR pile kind of thing. All of that, tell me down in the comments below. Anyways, I love you all, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye!